Hello everyone and welcome. We are not quite in the home stretch of the year, but we're pretty close. So far I've read 85 books this year, which I'm feeling pretty good about, and I'm trying to see if I can actually make it to 100 books this year. I haven't done it in a couple years now. So today we're going to talk about my November TBR, and I'm being a little bit freeform this month. I only have like 7 books on this TBR. I'm kind of doing a mini nano this month. I want to write about 500 words a day-ish. That's just a general goal. I'm working on a novel that I've been working on for a long time now, since I think 2015. So I think the pounding out of 50,000 words, that's just not going to work for the project I have in mind. So I'm just lowering my requisite word count for every day. So I'll still be working on it every day, but it'll leave me enough room to actually make it good. So I'll be doing that, and also there's Tome Topple Readathon this month, which is probably going to take a lot of my time and my reading time. Also, I'm traveling home to see my family this month, and I know when I spend time with my family, there's not a whole lot of time for other things. So we'll see how things go. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about my November TBR. First up is a book I didn't manage to finish last month for Gothtober, and this is The Phantom Coach. This is an anthology of Victorian ghost stories. I've talked a lot of times on the channel about how I've been wanting to read Victorian literature and more horror, so this is perfect for that. I've started reading the first story actually, and it's a little bit slow going because it takes some time to adjust to Victorian prose because it's still quite antiquated. So I'm going to try and read this in, I don't know, the next couple weeks. Next up on my TBR is The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. This is the first book, or I guess volume 0 in the Witcher series, which the Netflix series is based on. You may also know it for the wildly popular video games that my boyfriend likes to play and I want to play at some point. So the main character is Geralt, and he is a witcher, and they are a set of genetically enhanced warrior beings in this fantasy world. And from what I understand, this volume is really a series of short stories about his adventures. I've read conflicting things about this book, but Daniel Green seems to really like this book and this series in general, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Next up is more of a novella. It's called Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. I don't really know much about this story, but I know that it's kind of an interesting fantasy take on the Green Man, and I love the Green Man myth and the concept of the Green Man, and I love when people do new and interesting things with it. Swamp Thing is a good example of an interpretation of the Green Man, and I really love Alan Moore's Swamp Thing comics run. So I'm hoping for a short, atmospheric fantasy fall read from this. Next on my TBR is also The Girls by Emma Cline, and this was a wildly popular book a few years ago on BookTube. So this book is about girls who are in a cult, and I believe this is loosely based on the Manson family. And of course, the Manson family and their leader Charles Manson, they were a very famous murderous cult in the late 60s. I've personally been really interested in cults recently, and this was a book I'd wanted to read for a while and had put to the wayside. It's been sitting on my Kindle for a while, and of course November is a great time for creepy, unsettling reads, so I'm hoping to get around to The Girls. So we're going to get into my goals for Tome Topple. I have 3 books I really want to get to. The first book is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, and this is of course the first book in the Wheel of Time series. I read The Eye of the World when I was 12, and I remember really liking it despite the absolute length of the book. I read the first 3 books back then, but I never continued the series. But I've heard so many good things about the series over the years from coworkers, from friends, and of course Daniel Green, who is a YouTuber I really love. He has raved about the series a whole lot. So I'm really hoping to get into the series again, maybe look at it with a fresh eye. Of course, this is going to be another hefty fantasy series to get my teeth into, and there are 14 books, so it's quite long. But I got The Eye of the World on my Kindle for free, and I also have the audiobook, so why not read it this month? Another book I've had for a while is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, and I'm a little scared of this book because people have told me that it's really depressing, and I've watched reading vlogs where people break down while reading this book. I believe this is about 4 college friends and their journey together and their friendship and all the horrible things that happen to them. In any case, I want to read this book and see if it's as good and depressing as people say it is. And finally on my TBR TBR is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I don't know much about this series. I just know that it's based on Indian folklore and people keep telling me that it's good. And I think the last book literally just came out and people are raving about it, so I guess I should get on this series. I was considering this for Asian Readathon a month back, but I never got around to it. But I really want to read it because people keep raving about it, but I still don't know much about it. So that's it for my November TBR. Let me know down below what books you're planning to read this month. Like this video if you liked it and subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter and Goodreads and Instagram, and I will see you in my next video.